do we pigeonhole ourselves into our career and where we're at the moment?
Awaken the leader inside. Follow the path of leadership. Never give up. Never stop trying. Get up. Believe in yourself. Not every day is going to be easy, but you got to challenge yourself. You need courage. Be ready. Stop waiting for it to happen. Go make it happen. Harness the power within. You were destined to be a leader. Follow the path of leadership. Awaken the leader inside.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name's Dave Rubalcava, and I'm your host here at Awaken the Leader Inside, a show dedicated to your leadership journey. Remember, you are never alone. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I always do a lot of thinking, right? So I do a lot of reflection. I think almost daily, and I encourage you guys to do the same, as you're driving home from work. I know I'm stuck in traffic and all that, and it can get frustrating, so I'm sure you experience the same thing, but that's kind of like the quiet time that I always use to try to think about what I can do better in my career, what can I do better in my life, and what can I do differently right now? Like, what action can I take? Because I truly believe being action orientated is going to be, it's going to be the factor that changes your career, that also changes your life. And so, I was thinking about, I love to share my personal journey with you guys, and I'm not sharing hypothetical, I'm sharing stuff that's happening to me now. And it's almost like a diary of things that are happening to me, but I think it's cool that I can share it with you, and hopefully it'll give you some insight that into, maybe something that you're dealing with yourself, or maybe just, seeing things through a different lens can also give you perspective on figuring out what's the next move. And so one of the things I was thinking about last night as I was driving home from work is how can I explain how I was able to change careers and completely different field? How is that possible? And this isn't the first time. It's probably been like the second or third time that I've been able to just leap into a completely different career. And I asked myself, how was I able to do that? And as I was thinking about that to try to explain, how you could do that, the same question kind of popped into my head a couple of times. And I think this is where it kind of comes back to self is, do we pigeonhole ourselves into our career and where we're at the moment? And what does that mean? That means when you go out to let's say you want to do something different, you want to work for a different company. When we put on that resume, we've been programmed to go ahead and put everything that we've done that applies to that job, right? So if you work in retail, you put retail stuff. If you work in legal, you put legal stuff. If you put in HR, you put HR stuff, because that makes you look attractive to a future potential employer. But what do you do if you want to change careers completely? How do you do that? And so that's like the $1 million question. And so what I can do is at least share with you on my journey what I've done to help me do that. If you are interested in changing careers, or maybe you're just interested in doing something different, or maybe you just need to reflect and figure out what you're good at. And remember that what you're good at and what you're talented at makes a huge difference. And so what I'm going to share with you right now is leadership is leadership. So it's universal. You can use leadership in, working for a bank, working for telemarketing, for finance companies, whatever. You can use leadership. It is universal, and it is needed in every aspect of life, from small business to major corporations. Doesn't matter. Leadership is universal. So I want you to remember that. But what I did to figure out how do I leap into a different career is I kind of changed the way that I looked at what I do, not as a title. Remember this, because as a potential, leader that's looking for a different leap into a career, titles don't make sense. Because if you were in a certain field, let's say retail, which I came from retail, I have a lot of retail background. saying you're a retail manager going looking for maybe a potential office job doesn't always click because they have different needs. They deal with different parts of the public. They deal with different types of customer service. Customer service is customer service, but I'm just saying it's kind of looked through a different lens. But what if you can identify just what you're good at and what they're looking for? So I'll give you an example. They're looking for experienced leaders that can motivate teams. Bing, 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 bing. Every leader should be good at motivating teams, some better than others, but those are certain things. Those are certain qualities that you can use to actually search out jobs. And this is where I'm saying maybe you don't know which company you're looking for. You're just kind of out there looking for stuff. I actually searched companies using very specific keywords, and those keywords were like motivator, doing things like teaching, instructing, business management, finances, profit and loss, different things like that, right? But I used very specific words to figure out what I was good at, what I was comfortable at. Talent development was a huge one in there for me. And then I kind of sprinkled retail in there too, just to kind of see what's out there. But interesting enough, as I started putting in different keywords like talent development, HR background, right? I started seeing a lot of different things pop, and some of them were expected, other retailers, other HR companies, or HR positions in retail companies, which was pretty cool. But how I found my current job was I actually just looked for companies that were looking for very specific things, and they just happened to be in a different field. And so that's what I did. I looked up companies that were looking for leadership, that were looking for some type of retail experience, but not necessarily retail experience. I looked up companies that were looking for people that had experience hiring and things like that, the HR component to a company. So I actually built my search on using things that I was very comfortable with, but not necessarily using the title as a retail store manager, because that kind of puts you into a pigeonhole, right? And that's the thing. I think it's common for all of us that we use a current title that we have to job search or to search for another position. We use that exact title. Now, what you can do, and what I kind of did, is like I said, you know what? I know what I did as a store leader, but what is out there? What is out there in the land of Google? What does Google say that a store manager does? And I started reading all these things about it, and a lot of them I was very familiar. The day-to-day operations, hiring, terminating, things like that, the leading and directing, but when I started reading summaries of what the actual position that I have is, it gave me insight to some things that I'm like, okay, it gave me some extra keywords that I can use to search for something very similar, but not necessarily in retail or not necessarily with that job title, just using a summary of what my current position did. And then I kind of lined it up against what I did, what I feel like I do really well. And that's what I went after. And that's how I started job searching something that used the set of skills that I had with a different type of company in a different field, but they use the same skill set. That, to me, is how you can jump fields. That is, to me, it makes sense that those skill sets you've acquired over your career, over your life, they should be able to allow you to transition into a different field. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, hey, I don't know about that field. Let me tell you something that I learned a long time ago. Your leadership is going to hold together no matter what you do. Every position, including new ones at your current job, you're going to learn something new. You're going to have to do something you feel uncomfortable with and kind of try something new, or you get promoted and now you're running multiple units or things like that. You're always going to be learning. What you have to depend on is that your leadership will allow you to be flexible, will allow you to be humble, will allow you to go back into student mode to learn. while you're growing and learning your position, your leadership is still active. Now, it might not be as fully active that you are the one leading everybody at the moment and feeling comfortable that you can, pull the trigger and make decisions. That stuff will come with time. In any new job you go into, you're gonna have that new kind of like 90-day window where you're not the expert, dude. I had to accept that and humble myself down that I am no longer the expert in my current role, but I promise within the next 6 months, I'm pushing to be that leader that is experienced. And now I understand at least my current role. And now my leadership can kind of, stretch its wings and get out and start leading people the way that I was used to. But that's okay. That's part of the learning process. So I kind of asked myself, I wonder if people out there, if you guys out there ever feel like you're pigeonholed or that you're stuck into a certain role just because that's what you've done your whole career, or maybe just the last year, that's what you've done. It's okay. But you got to get out of that comfort zone. You got to start looking through things through a different lens. And you got to be smart enough to realize that if you want to jump fields, you're going to have to adjust your resume to reflect something that looks attractive to that company in that field. And it's got to make sense to them, man. I will be honest. I did a lot of hiring in my career. I did a lot over the last 20 years. Like, if it makes sense to me that someone wanted to get out of an industry just because they felt like it wasn't a good fit and that something about my company intrigued them and they want to learn and grow with this company, they've heard all these great things, makes sense. It makes sense to me. All right. Now, if you just jump field and don't really know why you're jumping a field, your success rate is going to probably be really low, if not zero. So you've got to kind of come up with the plan to help transition yourself and be able to explain, this is why I'm looking for a new challenge. This is why I think I'd be a good fit for this new company. And this is all, this is the stuff that I've learned about your company. Nothing says that you are serious about this employer when you've done research. And when it comes to your chance to ask questions, you ask important questions about the company and about, their success and, all that good stuff, culture. So I hope that helps you guys. I like to just share things fresh off my mind rather than coming in with the game plan about the podcast. And this was on my mind last night. And so let me know what you think. And if you have questions, reach out to me at David at Awaken The Leader Inside. You can also find me on all the social media, which we'll put in the notes and probably on the screen. And reach out to me. Let me know what you think. And if you have pigeonholed yourself and need help, you can always reach out to me, and I'm sure I can help you in one of the either social media formats, email, whatever. Just reach out to me. Let me know what you guys think, and I hope this helps. I hope this gives you some perspective that just because you've done something for a while doesn't mean you can't jump into a new field. Doesn't mean that you can't take a leap. I've done it multiple times. Was it scary? Absolutely scary. But you know what? At the end of the day, you figure it out, you work through it, your leadership kicks in, and you find yourself in a new position. And hopefully it's one that you enjoy. Just like where I'm at right now, man. I finally feel like I found something that is working for me. I love the company. I love the schedule. I love being able to be around for my family, which I've mentioned multiple times. But it all took choices to leave a career that I wasn't happy with and find something that made sense to me. If you do that, you're going to be happy. You're going to find yourself feeling fulfilled. And then you're going to find something else magical that happens. All of a sudden, all these damn doors come flooding open for you because you're happy with who you are and you feel like you make a difference and you bring the best part of you to work every day. And that's the goal. Stay tuned for another episode, you guys. Always remember, awaken the leader inside. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that little bell on the top, right? Now it's time to get to work and let's make it happen.